Okay, here we are, another day, the 19th of the 5th, and another win for the Prb model. So, jumping straight into the recap, right? Coming into the day, how do we find our bias? Well, if you look on the hourly chart, obviously, to keep it simple, right, what are we doing? We are just trading lower, right? Yes, overall we're bullish, but short term we're trading lower. It's pretty obvious when we open up, we're about here, right? It's pretty obvious that we want this low, okay? We're very, very close to it. As you can see, we've just been making lower highs and lower lows, right? We're just a classic trend down, right? There's no point overcomplicating it, right? We're bearish, right? So we think we're bearish. Do we have somewhere to go? Yes, this low, okay? Boom. That's our draw, right? No need to make it more complicated than that. Now we need a protected swing high, right? As you can see, I've already got it marked out here, but what makes this a protected swing high? Well, we open up here at 9:30. Right? If we look to our left, our most recent swing high is this. Did this swing high tap into a discount or a premium PD array? Yes, tapped into this, right? Did it sweep another high? No, not really, but that's fine. It doesn't need to. Did it is it rejecting an hourly gap? Yes, right? So it's rejecting a bearish PD array and we've displaced away from it, right? So realistically, if we are bearish, we should want to come lower from this range here, from this high to whatever the swing low is down here, and we shouldn't want to come and sweep this high, right? If we do come and sweep this high, then we can look to be bullish, if anything, okay? Now, obviously, in this range, it's quite nice. We've got, obviously, our premium fair value gap on the 15-minute chart, which is this one here. Obviously, we do not need it to run up into there, and we're not guessing if it will or won't. We're just waiting to see a reaction, right? So this is our range. Obviously, all we are looking for here, okay, I've got this marked out backwards, but all we are looking for here is, like I say, we are looking for a minimum of a tap to the 0.5, which, as you can see, we pump up from open and we retrace nicely into this range, right? So that can make us look for shorts. Now, there is something I want to go over, which is this, okay? If you can see, we sweep this low on the 15-minute, and then we inverse this 15-minute gap, and then we trade higher, right? So why is this not a protected swing, and why is this not a displacement, and then we look for a retracement and a trade towards this high, right? And then that is where bias comes into it, okay? We are just bearish here, okay? And obviously you can say that it's hindsight, but I obviously knew that in live time because I shorted and I didn't long, and you should have known that in live time too. It wasn't that complicated. We are just bearish, okay? Yes, we swept this high, but what is this high? This is an internal, this low, sorry. This is an internal low, right? We clearly, like I said, we clearly want at least this low, maybe even these ones, right? We don't know, okay? But with that being said, you shouldn't be really looking for longs here. And if you are looking for longs, then, you know, you could maybe take it to the premium gap, but because that would be an ERL to IRL, but you should not target this high, right? Was it possible that we were bullish and we come and run this high? Absolutely, right? It's absolutely possible, but you do not want to take that chance because realistically, until we strip this low, we should not return to this high, okay? So with that being said, what I'm looking for in the morning is I'm looking for any sign of rejection from this range, okay? So we pump up quite aggressively, yep. Obviously 9:30 opens here, we just pump up aggressively quite a bit, then we tap that 15 PD array and then we get some displacement lower, right? Now, obviously what you can sometimes do is you can have your protected swing high and then you can say this is the rebalance protected swing high and you can just enter short off the entry model here, which in this case the 1 minute IFEG would have been enough confirmation and you could have took that and targeted this low and you could have got 2.84R, right? Which is lovely. But because of this range being quite big, right, this is, yes, it's a rebalance protected high, this high here, but you can also wait for the rebalance of this, especially how aggressively we displace, right? Because if you think about it, we leave these nice big bearish gaps here. 9 times out of 10, we aren't just going to displace like this and then just run straight to the draw and not trade higher, right? We are going to want to rebalance that range. Obviously, that's part of the model. We're expecting that rebalance. So, best thing to do, wait till we put in a low, right? Mark that range out. And then we want to see a retracement to at least 0.5. And then we want to see some sort of confirmation lower, right? What do we do here? Okay. We come up, we wick the 618, we reject down nicely, but we leave this 1 minute gap uninversed, okay? Shorting that and just anticipating that gap to break is just FOMOing in, okay? There's no, there's nothing on the 30-second either. If I show you, as you can see, there's a 30-second gap that's even bigger that we do not break. Okay, so you are just like, yes, does this look like that this wants to be the high and we trade lower? Yes, it does look like it, right? You know, that would have made sense. There's nothing wrong with that. Lower, rebalance, lower, right? But it's not confirmed, okay? So what do? I do not take that trade, right? Because there's no confirmation, right? Obviously, I was looking to take this trade, and if we close this 30-second, then I would have taken it, or closed the 1 minute, whatever, but we didn't, okay? So I didn't. It's absolutely fine. What do? We re-sweep that high, okay? Is this a sweep of a rebalanced protected high and therefore a violation? No, okay? Because this isn't a rebalanced protected high. This is only a rebalanced protected high once we get that valid displacement from it, okay? So this is not that. This is just like, there's no difference between this high and this high, okay? Just because it's a big wick and it looks like a rejection, we did not get the confirmation, so it is not a protected high, okay? Then what do? We trade higher, tap into this 30-second gap up here, tap into a higher premium, right? And we then trade lower, okay? Is there anything on the 1 minute? No, okay, not really, right? We've got this CISD, okay? You could have taken that. As you see, if you wanted to take that, then you wait for the close below, and then you limit order the CISD, and as you can see, you literally have got ticked in. You put your stop at the high, and then you target this low, and you get 3.2R, and it runs beautifully, okay? Or, like I say, you can just go for this low, 2R, or you can just go for a fixed 2R, right? Targets can be discretional. Specifically for me today, I went for this low, right? Because I had good confirmation in it being hit, okay? So I was happy to hold for an extra 1R, and obviously risk potentially hitting 2R and then it reversing or whatever it could have done, and then saying, oh, I should have took 2R, but I was happy to risk that. The entry I took the 30-second inverse, okay, which was a slightly better entry, literally, as you can see, just because of how aggressive the displacement was. Closed below this inverse very nicely, right, not too far away, not too close. Shorted that, stop at the high, 3.3R towards that low, and it delivers beautifully, okay? We start to really get some speed here, and we hit it, okay? 219 points, okay? It's not a small move, okay? That was today. That was the recap. I hope that makes sense. Again, the reason I didn't look for longs is because bias, right? Because pattern-wise, this does look good for longs, right? Sweep this low, inverse the gap. That's our confirmation. Trade higher, right? What do we then see? Bullish 5-minute gap, right? Rebalance into this 5-minute gap, right? Nice, the discount levels, and then we see some displacement away from it, right? Bang, CISD could have entered long here. 1 minute gap could have entered long here, right? And it does work to some extent, like you don't just get absolutely wrecked, but it fails, okay? Look, like you get 0.99R out of it, right? And it fails. And why does it fail? Because your target is terrible, okay? You're targeting in the protected high. Like I say, this looks like a protected low, but it's not, okay? And it's not because of bias. That's the thing. This isn't just a pattern. It's not just, oh, we wicked a low and traded away. That's protected. No. There has to be confirmation to it, right? If this wants to be a protected low, why is there a low right there? If this wants to be a protected low, why is this our target? Right? Do you see what I mean? Like, it's just about logic, and it's about how you look at the markets. And obviously stuff like that will take some discretion, right? Like if you were to trade this model and you were to have been long biased and took that long, it wouldn't have been the worst thing ever, because technically the pattern is there and the pattern is correct, but it just doesn't fit the context, right? And some days you will get the context wrong, okay? And that's absolutely fine, right? I could have come in today for whatever reason, been bullish, could have took that long, could have lost, and again could have walked away happy, and then realised, I should have been short biased, right? And that is the thing with this model. Like 90% of the time, if you are going to be losing with this model, it is because your bias is wrong and you haven't picked the right protected high or low, okay? For this model, for this short, I mean, when did I go break even, right? Because I didn't do it too early, okay? I saw a lot of IFEG traders take this. Some of them took, like obviously similar short, some of them took this 1 minute here, right? Shorted this, and then when they took this low, they went break even, they got stopped to break even, and then they missed out on the whole move, okay? That is because their break evens make no sense, all right? They are, if you're trading the IFEG model, how like dodgy and them teach it, you are going break even when it sweeps a high or a low, and you're just doing it randomly, and you're not letting price breathe, and there's no logic behind it. You are just simply doing it because you don't want to lose money, because you're trying to convince yourself that you've been right enough that you don't deserve to lose money, which is absolutely ridiculous, right? Let's just say I did take this entry here. When would I have gone break even? Okay, come down, right? Let's take this low. Yep. Trade higher, right? Go tiny bit of drawdown, displace lower, okay? Once we close below this low, I would go break even there, okay? And as you can see, you would not get hit break even. And that is because that makes sense, okay? We've rebalanced this range and we've traded lower, okay? If we were to then come back up to here, I would expect us to run my stop because there would be no point for us to do that, okay? That was for that trade. Like I say, for my trade, I took the 30-second IFVG short here. And I went break even at the same place, but obviously this didn't hit my break even with the retracement. But I see as retrace and I see as displace. Once we take this low, I go break even, right? Obviously, I had a slightly better entry here. My entry wasn't down here, it was up here. So it wouldn't have hit my break even no matter what, but that is what I did, right? Once we rebalanced and then once we confirmed that that was a rebalance and that we shouldn't want to rebalance more, I went break even. And as you can see, my stop loss was absolutely safe the whole time. And then we banked just under 3%, risking about $400 on my past Lucid Flex account. This is my first day on the account. I bought it on Friday. I half passed it on Friday. I finished passing it on Monday. Today's Tuesday, and I'm already up 2.5%, right? Just trading this model, okay? I've had a 100% win rate in 3 days. I've passed an account and I'm in a decent amount of profit by not over risking, not being silly, not doing anything crazy, just normal good trading with this model, okay? That's today's recap, and thank you for watching.